Well, the Detroit Lions with a massive season-opening victory against the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Lions started 1-6 last season, but Dan Campbell's boys have been phenomenal since that, going 9-2 in their last 11. And now they win the season opener at Arrowhead. And speaking of Arrowhead, that's where our own Farhan Lalji is joining us. Good to see you, my friend. Must have been a fun night at Arrowhead, not so much for Chiefs fans. But you knew the storyline going into this one, my friend, was that Travis Kelce's out of this one. Chris Jones, that defensive beast, is in the stands hanging out with fans. It seemed like a ridiculous scene. But it really was Kadarius Toney that may have been the biggest issue for the Chiefs on this night.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fairness to Kadarius Toney, this is a guy that missed pretty much all of training camp in the preseason. He had meniscus surgery and really looked like he was rusty coming into this game. And when you look at the big-time plays that he let through his fingertips, you know, we start with that pick six, a perfectly thrown pass by Patrick Mahomes. Should have been a first down. He puts it right into the hands of a Detroit defender. He goes back the other way, and all of a sudden, we got a tie ball game. And then later on, he's got a chance to convert in the red zone on a crossing route. He drops that. Kansas City has to settle for a field goal. You get to the fourth quarter, 3rd and 1. He's got a chance to get a yard on a jet sweep. Detroit does a good job and stops him. And they got to settle for a field goal again. And then on the final drive, when he probably catches it and gets into field goal range, he drops it again. So Detroit or Kansas City winds up with a 3rd and 25 situation. They go for it on 4th and 25. Kadarius Toney stepped up for this team late in the season after getting acquired, played very well in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. But he was the single biggest reason Kansas City didn't win tonight.
And then, you know, I mentioned Travis Kelce. When you don't have a guy like he's like a safety valve for Patty Mahomes. You know, if everything else goes wrong, you know you can go to Kelce. He's probably going to be taller and better than the guy defending him. So with no Kelce, Mahomes spreading the ball around to 9 different receivers, but we still saw just how much Mahomes was missing his tight end, didn't we?
Yeah, 9 receivers in the first half, 10 in total. And you know, it was a lot like what happened in 2021 when Kelce missed a game because of COVID. He had to spread the ball around. But one of the after effects is just how much Kelce draws attention and just how much he allows other guys to get open. And as a result, there wasn't a lot of separation for Kansas City receivers on this night. And Patrick Mahomes was running for his life throughout this game. He winds up with 45 rushing yards and 6 carries. That's as much as the other 2 Kansas City running backs combined. That's not how they want to play offense. We know that he's dynamic with his legs, but that's not necessarily the way they want to play. They want him to run to throw, not necessarily run to run, and that's the Kelce effect because Patrick Mahomes has thrown 227 touchdown passes in his career. Travis Kelce's been on the field for 93% of those. He draws attention and allows other guys to get open as well. Didn't work out well for them tonight.
Fawn, let's talk about the Lions. Our buddy Luke Wilson just ripped them despite this victory. He thought their offense was sloppy. He thought they made some mistakes that he wasn't very happy with. But they still get the win, and there was an X factor for you on offense for them, and it wasn't necessarily Jared Goff.
No, it wasn't, you know, and I thought it might be Jahmyr Gibbs, you know, because he's such a dynamic player, and I thought that they might try to find some different ways to get him the ball. They didn't necessarily do that in big volume, but Josh Reynolds was the guy. And I said before this game, who other than Amon-Ra St. Brown is Jared Goff going to throw to if he's going to take the next step offensively, building on a really good 2022? And it turned out to be Josh Reynolds, especially in the fourth quarter on that game-winning drive. It's 3rd and 12 from deep in their own end. He makes a big-time reception on a pass that was just a little bit off. And then later on, he breaks the tackle, takes off down the right sideline, gets them into the red zone. He made some incredible catches, made some big plays for this team. They needed a complementary threat to Amon-Ra St. Brown. They know Josh Reynolds now is a guy they can rely on.
Dan Campbell, I love the guy. He's such a personality. He's so fun. Yeah. But Riverboat Ron Rivera has nothing on this guy, Farhan. I mean, Dan Campbell makes some calls out there that are truly fascinating. What did you think of his play calling against the Chiefs on Thursday?
Well, the play calling is one thing, but it's the decision-making, and we know that he's extremely aggressive, and we saw that early in this game when they were inside their own 20 on 4th down, and he faked a punt, and he got it. And up until that point, it would have been back-to-back 3-and-outs, and they really would have lost a lot of momentum. That gave them a jump start. They wind up taking the ball down the field, and they score on that drive. Then he had a number of other critical decisions. They're on Kansas City's 40-yard line on 4th and 4. A lot of coaches would go for it. He decides to punt there. Later on, it's 4th down again, and 4th and 2. and they've got the lead, and he decides to go for it. They wind up getting a pass knocked down. There was also a situation that led to a Kansas City touchdown where he had Kansas City off the field. Kansas City gets called for holding. He takes the penalty on 3rd and 17. Kansas City winds up converting, and that leads to a score. So 4 big decisions in this game. You can make the case that he got 2, maybe 3 of them wrong, but it didn't cost him. He still winds up winning.
Farhan, we're going to let you go because there's so many golf carts riding around behind you. There's another one. You're going to get hit. I'm really concerned about your safety out there.
Well, thanks for that. I also got a bunch of Detroit Lions fans right in front of me. They've been screaming. They're not leaving, so I might be in danger as well if they don't leave.
Okay, well, you get home safe, and don't let them know what Luke Wilson said about their offense, okay? We appreciate it. See you, buddy.
Just to play for them. You should love them.
Exactly. They should know. He's an alumnus. Great job by Farhan, as always. NFL Red Zone, the best way to watch all of the action this NFL season with our good friend Scott Hansen. Every touchdown from every game on Sunday afternoon. I absolutely love it. And there's only one place to get it this year. TSN Plus. You got to subscribe now.